Good evening. I'm Nancy Cordes in for Norah O'Donnell. Palpable anger and anguish pouring onto Israeli streets today as throngs of protesters marched for a ceasefire deal that would release the remaining October 7th hostages. The day started with a nationwide strike that nearly brought the country to a standstill, followed by funerals for some of the 6 hostages whose bodies were returned home after they were found shot in the back of the head in a Gaza tunnel over the weekend. Among the dead, 23-year-old Israeli-American Hersh Goldberg-Polin. President Biden was asked today about the job that Israel's leader is doing, and his answer was terse.
Do you think it's time for Prime Minister Netanyahu to do more on this issue? Do you think he's doing enough?
No.
We have team coverage from Israel to the White House tonight. Let's start with CBS's Imtiaz Tyab, who is in Tel Aviv. Imtiaz?
Nancy, good evening. The national strike saw Israel's main airport shut and its economy grind to a virtual halt for hours, as public anger also exploded into a second night of street protests following the killings of 6 hostages in Gaza, including Israeli-American Hersh Goldberg-Polin.
Thousands gathered at a Jerusalem cemetery to say their last goodbyes to Berkeley-born Israeli-American Hersh Goldberg-Polin, including the 23-year-old's parents, Rachel and John.
Hersh, we failed you. We all failed you.
The Goldberg-Polins are among the most high-profile hostage families who took the plight of those held by Hamas to the global stage, including the Democratic Party convention.
Okay, sweet boy, go now on your journey. I hope it's as good as the trips you dreamed about, because finally, my sweet boy, finally, you're free.
Hersh Goldberg-Polin's body was found in a Gaza tunnel alongside the remains of Ori Danino, Alex Lobanov, Almog Sarusi, Carmel Gat, and Eden Yerushalmi. According to initial autopsy reports, all were shot in the head between 48 and 72 hours before they were found by Israeli soldiers. Their killings have triggered a second night of furious protests as thousands of Israelis continue to demand Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu agree to a ceasefire and hostage release deal with Hamas.
The fury here is on a scale not seen before, with protesters blaming the killings of the 6 hostages squarely on Netanyahu.
My government is the people who are supposed to keep us safe. They just don't do their jobs.
In an address to the nation, Netanyahu appealed for forgiveness for not bringing the 6 hostages back alive and said Hamas will, quote, pay a heavy price. The protesters accuse him of stalling for months now the U.S. brokered ceasefire and hostage release talks for his own political gain. And until an agreement is reached, the violence in Gaza rages on. Over the past 24 hours, 48 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli strikes, according to health officials. Even as the UN attempts to vaccinate 640,000 Palestinian children in the hopes of preventing a major outbreak of polio in the devastated territory.
Now, based on the framework of a multi-phase deal Israel and Hamas agreed to back in July, 3 of the 6 hostages who were killed would have been released as part of the first phase of any eventual ceasefire agreement. And Hersh Goldberg-Polin would have been one of them. Nancy.
So close to freedom. Imtiaz Tyab in Tel Aviv, thank you so much.